He paid just $10 for a hangar. The ancient warship seemed useless. Until its guardian showed up, Jarek tightened his grip on the auction paddle as the final bid echoed through the dusty hangar. Around him, aliens of all shapes and sizes whispered and gestured, their voices mixing into a low, confused hum. Most of them ignored the hangar he was bidding on. Most thought it was worthless. The building itself looked like it had been abandoned for centuries. Dust covered every surface. Rust crept along the metal walls. Broken equipment lay scattered across the floor, and the smell of old oil and scorched circuits filled the air. "This place?" Jarek heard one of the bidders say in disbelief. "It's falling apart." Why even bother? Jarek smiled to himself. He liked places like this. Most people saw junk. He saw possibility. He had spent years scavenging, fixing, and transforming what others threw away into tools, machines, and even small ships. And today, he had a plan. The auctioneer's gavel hit the podium. "Sold!" Jarek stepped forward, a grin spreading across his face. 10 credits. Just 10. That was all it had cost him to claim the hangar. For most beings in the galaxy, it would have been a laughable sum. For Jarek, it was the start of something much bigger. Inside the hangar, the air was still and cold. Dust motes danced in the thin shafts of sunlight coming from cracks in the roof. Jarek set down his bag and looked around, taking in the space. And then, in the far corner, something caught his eye. It was a ship. Not just any ship, but an ancient warship, sitting on rusted rails as if waiting for someone. Its hull was blackened with age, the metal scratched and worn. Strange, glowing runes ran along its sides, pulsing faintly, almost like a heartbeat. Jarek walked closer, brushing his hand over the hull. The metal felt cold but solid. The ship seemed heavy, built to survive storms, war, and time itself. Most bidders would have dismissed it immediately. They didn't see the value in a ship that couldn't fly. Or at least, not yet. But Jarek's eyes lit up. He loved puzzles. He loved machines that had secrets. And this ship, it was full of secrets. He circled it slowly, examining every panel, every hatch, every faint light that blinked in irregular patterns. He ran his fingers over the strange runes, wondering if they were purely decorative, or if they were part of some ancient control system. "This thing is useless," a voice said from behind him. Jarek turned to see a tall, blue-skinned alien with 6 arms shaking its head. "You can't even get it to move. The engines are gone. The weapons are fried. You just wasted 10 credits on a pile of scrap." Jarek chuckled. Maybe. Or maybe I'd just bought a treasure. The alien snorted and walked away, clearly unconvinced. Jarek didn't mind. Most people, or aliens, didn't understand. They were too focused on what was obvious. He was focused on what wasn't. Over the next few days, Jarek settled into the hangar. He cleared the dust, organized his tools, and started the slow process of examining the ship. He didn't rush. Patience was part of his talent. He studied the controls, the panels, and the strange symbols carved into the hull. Slowly, he began to map out what each section did. Some of it was familiar, like standard power conduits, but other parts were completely alien. He spent hours tracing the energy lines, trying to figure out where the ship's power had gone. He tested sensors, measured currents, and even rigged up some old salvaged engines from nearby scrapyards just to see if the ship would respond. And then the first sign appeared. It started as a faint glow from the runes along the hull. At first, Jarek thought it was a reflection from the sunlight, but when he waved his hand in front of it, the light pulsed in response. His pulse quickened. The ship was alive, or at least it was aware. He stepped back, staring at it. "You're not just a pile of metal, are you?" he murmured. The glow shifted, almost like the ship was acknowledging him. Over the next few days, Jarek tested more. He tried opening panels, tapping on consoles, and even speaking aloud to the ship, almost jokingly. Sometimes the lights flickered in response, Sometimes the hum of the ship seemed to change, subtle vibrations that ran through the floor beneath his feet. It was intelligent. Or at least it had some form of intelligence. On the fourth day, something truly unexpected happened. While Jarek was examining the main control deck, a holographic figure flickered to life above the central console. Jarek froze. The figure was humanoid, but its features were delicate and alien, too perfect to be natural. Its eyes glowed softly, and its voice was calm, yet powerful. "I am Kale," the figure said, "guardian of this vessel. State your intentions." Jarek blinked. Hello?" "I'm Jarek. I bought the hangar."
I guess I want to fix your ship."
Kale's eyes narrowed slightly, the hologram shimmering. "Fix? Most beings would have destroyed this vessel already. Why do you wish to repair it?" Jarek shrugged, smiling.
I like challenges, and I like machines that have secrets.
"You seem secretive." Kale's form pulsed with light. "You are unusual. Most do not treat ancient vessels with respect. Most are interested only in profit or power. You are different." Jarek felt a thrill of excitement. This was why he loved what he did. He had never met a guardian before. He had never spoken to a ship that was aware of him. But he had a feeling this was going to be the start of something incredible. Over the next week, Jarek and Kale began a strange partnership. Kale guided him, offering small hints about the ship's systems, but never giving full explanations. Jarek improvised, using his human creativity to solve problems that Kale hadn't anticipated. Together, they discovered that the ship was more than just a war machine. It could control environments, manipulate energy, and even create small ecosystems inside its hull. It was a living tool, designed not just to fight, but to preserve, protect, and adapt. Meanwhile, rumors about the hangar began to spread. Other scavengers and traders came by, hoping to buy the useless ship for scrap. Each time, Jarek would show a small demonstration, a panel lighting up, a defensive system activating, a strange energy field forming around a corner. The visitors would leave, whispering in disbelief. Jarek laughed quietly to himself. They didn't see it yet. They didn't understand humans. They thought the galaxy was predictable, full of rules and limits. They hadn't met a human willing to experiment, to improvise, to treat something ancient with respect and curiosity. And as the sun set over the dusty plains outside the hangar, Jarek stood on the edge of the deck, looking at the ship. The faint glow of the runes bathed his face in soft light. Kale's hologram hovered nearby, silently observing. "This is just the beginning," Jarek said quietly. "We're going to see what you can really do." Kale's light pulsed in agreement, or perhaps amusement. Either way, Jarek knew one thing for certain. The galaxy had no idea what was coming. And for once, that thought made him grin from ear to ear. The hangar was quieter than usual that morning. The dusty sunlight streamed through the broken panels in golden streaks, casting long shadows on the floor. Jarek moved carefully around the ship, his fingers brushing over the cold metal hull. The strange runes still pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat hidden beneath layers of metal. Kale, the ship's holographic guardian, hovered silently near the main console, its soft light flickering with every pulse of energy. "You have not activated the main power yet," Kale said in its calm, almost musical voice.
"Why do you wait?" Jarek paused, scratching his head. "I need to understand it first."
"I don't want to make a mistake. Ancient ships? They don't like mistakes." Kale tilted its head, the hologram shimmering slightly. "Most beings fail because they underestimate what lies within. You may have the patience to succeed. Perhaps that is why I did not destroy the previous intruders." Jarek smiled. "Well, lucky me then." He reached for a control panel, pressing a sequence of buttons he had discovered the day before. The ship hummed softly. Small lights blinked along the hull, circuits sparking to life. Dust rose from the floor in tiny clouds, stirred by the subtle vibrations. Suddenly, a soft voice echoed in his mind. Not Kale. Something else. Something deeper. Who awakens me? Jarek froze. His heart raced. He glanced at Kale. Do you hear that? He whispered. Kale's holographic eyes focused on him. It is the vessel itself. It is curious about you. Do not be afraid. You are unusual. Jarek swallowed hard. Curious, huh? Well, curiosity is kind of my thing. He pressed another sequence of controls. The ship responded, lights flowing across the panels like water. A small holographic map appeared, showing the surrounding sector, planets, and star systems. Lines of energy connected each world, pulsing softly. Jarek leaned closer. What is this? This is the network the ship once observed, Kale explained. It monitored the galaxy, not as an observer, but as a guardian. It was designed to preserve balance, not to fight wars. Jarek frowned. So it's peaceful? Kale's light pulsed. It can be, but most beings used it for conflict. That is why I remained. I had to wait for one who could understand it differently. Jarek's grin widened. Looks like it found me. Over the next few days, Jarek worked harder than ever. He repaired panels, connected energy conduits, and cleaned old sensors that had been dormant for centuries. Every small success made the ship hum louder, as if approving his work. And then Kale showed him something incredible. Observe, Kale said one evening. The hologram moved to a console that Jarek had not noticed before. With a few precise gestures, Kale activated the ship's environmental systems. Within seconds, the air inside the hangar shifted. It became warmer, fresher, almost fragrant with the smell of trees and soil. Small plants sprouted in the corners, tiny sprouts glowing faintly under the ship's energy fields. Jarek's jaw dropped. It's alive. Really alive. Kale's voice carried a hint of pride. It can create ecosystems, sustain life, and adapt to harsh environments. It was designed for preservation, not destruction. But most who found it tried only to weaponize it. Jarek crouched near a small sprout, gently touching its glowing leaves.
I never want to destroy anything. I
want to see what it can do. Kale pulsed softly, and the hologram's expression seemed almost human. You are unlike any other being I have observed. I will continue to teach you. But you must understand, the galaxy will not see this as harmless. Jarek soon found out how right Kale was. Word of the hangar spread across the nearby systems. Traders, scavengers, and curious travelers came to see the useless ship that a human had purchased for 10 credits. They laughed at first, seeing only the rusted hull and broken hangar. But when Jarek demonstrated its capabilities, even in small ways, they stopped laughing. A small trader ship approached the hangar. Its owner, a tall, green-scaled alien named Rithek. What are you doing, human? He asked, walking into the hangar. This ship is old. Nothing works. You'll ruin yourself trying to fix it. Jarek shrugged. I'm not ruining anything. I'm discovering it. Rithak laughed. Discovering? You mean playing with junk? Let me show you something real. He pressed a button on his wrist console. Instantly, a small energy pulse hit the hangar doors. The metal groaned under the pressure, and Rithak smiled smugly. Jarek frowned. He pressed a series of controls on the ship's panel. Slowly, the hangar's doors began to shift, forming a protective barrier. The pulse from Rithak's device bounced off harmlessly, and the ship emitted a low hum vibrating through the floor. Rithak's eyes widened. What? What did you do? Jarek grinned. I didn't do anything. She did. He nodded toward the ship, which pulsed in response. The trader stumbled back. This ship, it's alive? Yes, Jarek said simply. And she likes humans who know how to think. Rithak left quickly after that, his mind racing. Word spread even faster. The galaxy started to notice. One night, Jarek sat on top of the ship's hull, looking out at the twin moons rising over the horizon. Kale hovered beside him. The galaxy underestimates humans, Kale said quietly. Most are predictable, cautious, and limited by fear. You improvise. You adapt. You do not follow rules blindly. Jarek laughed softly. That's called being smart, Kale. Rules are for those who don't think for themselves. Kale's light pulsed. Perhaps. But there is more than just survival. There is ingenuity. And you possess it in abundance. Jarek leaned back, letting the cool metal soothe him. Then let's see how far we can go. In the following week, Jarek discovered more secrets of the ship. Kale taught him how to manipulate energy fields, how to create small atmospheric systems, and even how to generate temporary energy shields. Jarek experimented constantly, combining his human improvisation with Kale's guidance. Each day the ship seemed to respond with new abilities, almost as if it learned alongside him. One evening, Jarek noticed something unusual. The runes on the hull began to glow brighter, almost urgently. The ship shivered under his hands, and Kale's hologram flickered nervously. "What is it?" Jarek asked.
The ship senses something approaching, Kale said. An anomaly.
"I do not know its origin, but it is significant. You must be ready."
Jarek's pulse quickened. Are we talking aliens or something worse? Kale's hologram pulsed.
"I cannot say. But it is not simple curiosity. Prepare the systems. You will need all your skill and ingenuity." Jarek's grin returned. "You worry too much, Kale. That's what makes it fun." The next morning, a small scout ship appeared near the hangar. Its engines glowed faintly, and a series of alien markings covered its hull. Jarek climbed onto the ship's deck and activated a series of control panels. The hangar doors opened, and the ship's defensive fields pulsed softly around him. The scout ship hesitated, its sensors picking up the unusual energy. Then a single alien voice came over a communicator. "Human," it said. "We know what you have found. Surrender it immediately. That vessel is not yours to claim." Jarek laughed, leaning against the hull. "Surrender?"
I don't think so. I'm just getting started.
Kael's light pulsed in agreement. "The galaxy will not understand. You must use your wit, not force. Strategy will protect you better than weapons ever could." Jarek nodded. "Don't worry. I've got a plan." The scout ship hovered, unsure, as the warship behind Jarek hummed with life. The glowing runes pulsed faster, the air vibrated, and the ship seemed to expand, almost breathing. The galaxy had underestimated humans again, and it was about to learn a lesson it would not forget. The hangar had never been this quiet or this tense. Jarek stood on the ship's deck, watching the small alien scout hover just outside the protective energy field. BL's holographic light pulsed faintly beside him, almost like a heartbeat in the still air. "Are you ready?" Kale asked.
Jarek smirked. Ready? I was born ready. The question is...
"Are they ready?" The scout ship's communicator crackled again. "Human, you are warned. That vessel is ancient, powerful, and dangerous. Stand down, or we will be forced to act." Jarek laughed softly. "You're acting as if a little warning is going to scare me. I think you're about to learn a very important lesson." Kale tilted its head. "Do you understand the risks? The galaxy does not take kindly to humans who improvise with unknown technology." "I love risks," Jarek replied, his eyes gleaming. "They make life interesting." For the next few hours, Jarek worked quickly, combining his human ingenuity with KL's guidance. He activated systems the alien had not seen before, energy shields that shifted constantly, creating invisible barriers. He rerouted the ship's internal systems to produce micro-atmospheres, strange fields of air that distorted sensors and made it almost impossible for the scout to lock on. Kale watched, impressed. "Your creativity exceeds expectations. No other species could have conceived these tactics." Jarek shrugged, smiling. "Rules are suggestions, not laws." The scout hesitated. Its sensors could detect something unusual. something it could not understand. The alien pilot was clearly confused, trying to analyze the protective fields, but every time it thought it had a solution, the ship changed, adapted, and moved in a way no algorithm could predict. Humans are unpredictable, the alien muttered to themselves. Jarek leaned on the railing, enjoying the moment. Exactly. By evening, a small fleet had arrived. Word of the hangar and the living warship had spread. Jarek estimated at least half a dozen alien vessels hovered cautiously around the hangar, scanning, probing, and trying to figure out what made the ship so alive. Kale's light flickered nervously. They may not retreat so easily this time. Their curiosity is dangerous. They will attempt to overpower you. Jarek smiled faintly. That's fine. I don't plan to fight them. I plan to outthink them. Kale pulsed rapidly. You will need more than improvisation. The galaxy may not understand patience and cleverness. They may respond with force. Jarek shrugged. Then I'll make them rethink force. He moved quickly through the ship's control panels, activating sequences Kale had taught him. Energy flowed through hidden conduits, pulsing under the hull, lighting up the runes along the sides. The ship vibrated softly, as if preparing itself for a challenge it had not faced in centuries. As night fell, Jarek climbed onto the roof of the hangar to get a better view. The stars reflected faintly on the dark metal of the hovering fleet. He could see the alien captains communicating, pointing at the warship and shaking their heads. Clearly, they had not expected resistance. Kale, I think it's time they learned a little human lesson, Jarek said. Kale pulsed almost like laughter. Be careful. They will not understand subtlety. Subtlety is boring, Jarek replied, flipping a few switches. Suddenly, the hangar's door slowly lifted. A soft blue glow spread from the ship, extending into the surrounding area, like water flowing over rocks. The alien fleet sensors went wild. Their readings became erratic. Communications began to fail. Every attempt to analyze the energy fields failed. The ship was no longer just alive. It was a puzzle they could not solve. The lead alien pilot shouted into the communicator, panic in their voice. What is that? What is happening? Jarek leaned over the edge, grinning. It's simple. You're looking at human ingenuity. Over the next few hours, the alien fleet tried every tactic they could think of. They sent small probes to analyze the ship. They fired energy pulses, hoping to disable the defensive systems. They even attempted electronic hacking, trying to override the controls. Every time, the ship adapted. The energy fields shifted in real time, creating barriers in areas that needed them most. The ship rerouted power from panels to shield weak spots. Small drones inside the ship emerged, harmless but confusing, moving strategically to block sensors and create false readings. Kael's hologram pulsed brightly. You are doing what no other species could have done. They cannot predict your actions. Jarek shrugged, relaxed on the deck. I just think fast and act faster. That's how humans survive. By midnight, the alien fleet had grown frustrated. They couldn't land, they couldn't scan the hangar effectively, and they couldn't figure out what the ship was doing. Jarek's improvised systems had turned the hangar into a fortress that relied entirely on cleverness, not brute force. The lead pilot sent one last message. Human, we do not understand your tactics. You may leave, for now, but we will return. Jarek laughed softly. I'll be here, and I'll be ready. The next morning, the hangar was quiet again. Jarek walked among the plants that had sprouted from the ship's environmental systems, touching their leaves and watching them glow faintly. Kale hovered nearby, its light steady now, calm after the night of tension. They will come back, Kale said. Jarek nodded. I know. But they didn't win. Not today. And next time, they'll have even more trouble. Kyle pulsed thoughtfully. Most species would have tried to fight. You did not. You outsmarted them. That is your greatest strength. Jarek smiled. It's also the only way humans win. Brute force is boring. Adaptability, creativity, patience. That's how we survive. That's how we thrive. Kale's light shimmered in agreement. And now the galaxy will begin to notice. They will begin to fear your unpredictability. That is powerful. Jarek laughed softly. Fear? Maybe. Respect? Definitely. But I'm just getting started. In the following days, Jarek explored more of the ship's hidden systems. Kale taught him how to manipulate energy flows to create temporary gravity fields, how to use the ship's internal systems to map distant planets, and even how to simulate small, controlled environments to test alien technology. Each time he discovered something new, the ship responded as if pleased. The ruins glowed brighter. Lights pulsed in rhythmic patterns. Small changes in airflow and temperature hinted at a life of its own. Jarek began to understand the full potential of the vessel. It was not just a ship, it was a guardian, a protector, and a teacher. And humans, with their strange ability to improvise, think differently, and act unpredictably, were the perfect crew. One evening, Kale spoke with a new urgency. Jarek, there is an incoming anomaly in the nearby sector. Its energy is unlike anything I have observed in centuries. It will affect multiple star systems. The galaxy does not yet understand its danger. You may be the only one who can respond. Jarek's pulse quickened. An anomaly? How dangerous? Kale's light pulsed. It is not an enemy in the traditional sense. It is a force. It will destroy systems if unchecked. You will need to use every skill, every tactic, and every bit of ingenuity you possess. No other species can respond effectively. Only humans. Jarek's grin returned. Looks like we're about to get very busy. Kale pulsed brightly. Prepare yourself. This will test not just your skill, but the very nature of human creativity. The galaxy will watch, and they will learn. Humans are not predictable. Humans are not weak. Humans are extraordinary. Jarek's eyes gleamed as he looked at the glowing ruins of the ship. Then let's show them what humans can do. The hangar vibrated gently underfoot, the ship humming in anticipation. For the first time, Jarek felt the full weight of what he had discovered, and the promise of what was to come. The galaxy had underestimated him once again, and this time, the challenge ahead would prove exactly why humans could never be underestimated. The hangar was alive with quiet energy. The ancient warship, which had once seemed like nothing more than rust and forgotten power, hummed as if aware of the moment to come. Jarek stood on the ship's deck, fingers brushing over the cold metal, eyes shining with anticipation. "Kyle," he said softly, "are you ready?" "I am ready." The anomaly approaches. Its energy will affect entire star systems. The galaxy is unprepared. But you, Jarek, may change that.
Jarek nodded.
Then let's get to work. Outside, the anomaly was visible now, a swirling mass of energy stretching across the void, flickering between shades of violet and green. It moved unpredictably, emitting bursts that disrupted communications and sensors of nearby fleets. Ships tried to measure it, to calculate a course, but every reading contradicted the last. The galaxy's most advanced computers were failing. Jarek took a deep breath. Looks like it's going to be one of those days. Kyle pulsed brightly. The galaxy will test humans, as it always does. But humans do not act predictably. They adapt. That is your greatest strength. Jarek smiled. Then let's give them a show. He moved across the ship's control panels with practiced ease, rerouting power to the environmental and energy manipulation systems. The ship shivered under his touch, responding to his commands like a loyal partner. He activated the protective fields around the hangar and extended energy conduits outward, creating a massive network of controlled energy flows. "Kale, we need to understand it first," Jarek said. "If we can guide it, maybe we can save the systems without destroying it." Kale's light pulsed in agreement. "The anomaly is not a being. It is a force. It will follow the path of least resistance. You can influence it, but you must act quickly and think creatively." Jarek began the work. Using the ship's sensors, he mapped the anomaly's energy patterns. It shifted constantly, as if alive, almost as if it were testing him. The alien fleets nearby panicked, sending commands and scanning devices that failed repeatedly. Jarek realized the first lesson. The galaxy tried to use force, brute strength, and rigid protocols, but this anomaly was beyond that. Only ingenuity, adaptation, and unconventional thinking could respond. He rerouted energy from hidden channels within the ship, directing it toward the anomaly in precise pulses. The energy did not fight the force, it guided it. The anomaly slowed, responding subtly, following the pathways Jarek had created. Kale's holographic light pulsed faster.
"You are extraordinary," Kale said. "No species would have conceived this method."
They would have tried to destroy it, and failed. Jarek grinned. Humans don't destroy unless there's no other way. We think first, adapt second, and act last. That's how we survive and thrive.
Hours passed. The anomaly moved closer to inhabited star systems.
Jarek's hands flew across the controls, activating energy shields, creating temporary gravitational fields, and guiding the force along pathways that avoided destruction. Small adjustments here, slight pulses there. The ship responded instantly, its ruins glowing brighter with each success. Kale's holographic form hovered beside him, guiding and advising, but never taking control. Jarek realized something important. The ship was alive, yes, but it trusted him to act. He had earned its respect. The alien fleets watched in disbelief. Their attempts to intervene had failed. Their sensors and weapons were useless against a combination of human ingenuity and an ancient vessel's adaptive systems. This human, he is not following any known rules, one alien captain muttered to their fleet. We cannot predict his actions. We cannot contain him. Jarek chuckled quietly. Rules are boring.
I prefer creativity.
By midnight, the anomaly had reached its peak intensity, threatening multiple planetary systems. Jarek's pulse quickened, but he did not panic. He focused, moving faster, thinking clearer than ever. He activated a final sequence, a series of energy conduits combined with the ship's environmental systems to create a controlled vortex. The anomaly's energy was not destroyed. It was redirected, safely dispersed across uninhabited areas of space, transformed into harmless bursts of light and radiation. The alien fleets gasped in astonishment. Systems that were moments from destruction were untouched. The anomaly had been guided without damage, without conflict, without brute force. Kale's hologram pulsed in bright satisfaction. You have succeeded. No other species could have done this. You have preserved life without destruction. The galaxy will remember this. Jarek leaned back, breathing heavily, sweat on his brow. It's not about remembering. It's about surviving and proving that humans are different. Clever, adaptable, unpredictable. The next morning, word spread quickly. News of the human who had guided an anomaly across multiple star systems without a single life lost reached every corner of the nearby galaxy. Aliens whispered about the ship, about the Guardian, and about the human who had done the impossible. Jarek spent the morning checking systems and exploring parts of the ship that had never been touched. Kale hovered nearby, its light calm but alert. They will come, Kale said. The galaxy does not forgive those it cannot understand. Many will seek to control you, to control the ship. But now, they know humans are extraordinary. Jarek grinned. Let them try. They'll learn quickly that humans don't follow rules. We improvise, we adapt, and we think differently. And that's why we survive. Kale pulsed thoughtfully. You have earned the ship's trust. You have proven your creativity. You have preserved life where others would have failed. The galaxy may fear humans, but it will also respect them. That is a rare achievement. In the following weeks, Jarek used the ship to explore nearby star systems, helping colonies solve problems that no other species could manage. He repaired failing satellites, restored dying ecosystems, and even created small controlled environments for scientific experiments. Everywhere he went, the ship's adaptive systems worked alongside him, responding to every challenge with intelligence and precision. Aliens who had once laughed at the hangar and the useless ship now approached cautiously, sometimes respectfully. They no longer underestimated humans. They had learned that a human, combined with ingenuity, patience, and adaptability, could accomplish what fleets of soldiers and fleets of ships could not. Jarek smiled quietly to himself one evening as he stood on the deck, watching the glow of distant stars reflected on the ship's dark hull. Kale hovered beside him, its holographic light pulsing softly. "Do you think they understand now?" Jarek asked. Kale's hologram shimmered. "They understand one thing. Humans are not predictable. Humans are not weak. Humans are capable of the extraordinary, and they will never forget it." Jarek chuckled softly. "Good. Let them remember. Because this is only the beginning." The galaxy began to change its view of humanity. No longer were humans seen as weak, small, or unimportant. Instead, they were clever, adaptable, and capable of feats that no other species could imagine. The ancient warship, once dismissed as useless, had proven to be humanity's partner, its guardian, and its teacher. Jarek looked out across the stars, thinking of the adventures yet to come. He knew the galaxy would continue to challenge him, to underestimate him, and to test humans in ways no other species had been tested. But he also knew something more important. Humans would always find a way. They would always adapt. They would always surprise. And the ancient ship hummed softly beneath him, alive and ready, a reminder of the lesson that no one in the galaxy would ever forget. Never underestimate a human. The stars stretched out endlessly before him, full of challenges and mysteries, and Jarek, human, clever, and unpredictable, smiled knowing that the galaxy's greatest mistake had been thinking humans were ordinary.